Welcome to another installment of This Is Not Normal on the Political Drain podcast with Drill Sergeant Doug, aka Admin Doug, a U.S. Army veteran, teacher, musician, and family man from Jamaica, now fights for justice and democracy through commentary and humor. Follow him on YouTube at Political Drain and at Sons of Liberty Official as Drill Sergeant, aka Admin Doug, continues to protect our freedoms.
On her third night of detention, agents took in two new detainees, an African immigrant and her 7-month-old baby girl. She said the immigrant told her that they had been detained as the mother took her baby to a doctor to treat the child for influenza. When the woman arrived, she was screaming and crying and yelling, "My baby is already sick." She recalled, "I don't want my baby to die."
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant. And I'm just going to flat out show you a video that's talking about what's happening inside these ICE detention centers, these concentration camps. What's happening to the adults, to the women, to pregnant women is bad enough. But what's happening to the children is diabolical. And at the end of this video, it's going to be a little bit long, but it's so important. You have to watch it. You have to watch it. We have to spread this word. In Germany, people were asked afterwards, "What did you do?" They said they didn't know, but we knew that they knew. We knew that they knew. They just looked away. They were just caught up in the fervor of the Führer. I have very serious points to make after this. Please watch it. When we were doing the video, the podcast just the other day, Closer to the Edge podcast, partner of mine, Rook T. Winchester, with Closer to the Edge Publications, we developed a podcast together, and we had Robbie Roadsteamer. And because we're adults, we can make fun of it. We can compartmentalize pain and trauma. And he was talking about the conditions in there, and they were very serious. But because we're adults, we can internalize it. We have experience, life experience that has allowed us that privilege. Kids don't have that. Every day is a regression or progression for the child mind. Trauma. Guys, you gotta watch this. Just watch.
January 31st of this year, entitled "No Humanity, Detainees Describe Conditions Inside Whipple Federal Building." If you're watching this on YouTube, please also go to the video description because the end of this Facebook post shares a ton of helpful links and I will include them there. Be forewarned, this will not be easy to listen to. The young Muslim woman was shackled at the ankles. For 24 hours, she was locked inside a bathroom with 3 men at the Bishop Henry Whipple Federal Building, she said. They were given no bedding or pillows. Meals consisted of 1 sandwich a day. The sink faucet did not work, but the single toilet did. When the men pulled down their pants to use it, the woman hid her face.
The same people who are telling you that they voted for Trump because trans people going in bathrooms are going to tell you that he has the best interest at heart, are going to tell you that he has somehow done something about these trans in sports while this is happening, and they close their eyes. They're monsters. The people who will tell you about what's going on in bathrooms that don't exist will tell you that what you just heard is okay, because to them, power, subjugation is more important because they have nothing else. There's no extra money around. There's no extra jobs around. The jobs report is horrible. The economy sucks. And they have their trailer or their church. And it's all they have left. And the church tells them that this is going to be what lifts them up. And they're disgusting enough to believe it.
After 24 hours with the men, the young woman, a refugee who had completed the rigorous vetting process that all refugees undergo and had legal status in the U.S., was moved to a different locked bathroom in the building's basement. Her grueling experience was described in a recent post by the Minnesota Star-Tribune on the inhumane conditions of people being detained by ICE in Minneapolis. When she had her period, agents told her to use toilet paper. When she felt dizzy and vomited twice, agents did not grant her request for medical care. There was an air vent at the door's bottom. When she saw federal agents' footsteps, she banged for help. On her third night of detention, agents took in 2 new detainees, an African immigrant and her 7-month-old baby girl. She said the immigrant told her that they had been detained as the mother took her baby to a doctor to treat the child for influenza. When the woman arrived, she was screaming and crying and yelling, "My baby is already sick." She recalled, "I don't want my baby to die." The next morning, she said, the woman and the baby were moved from the bathroom. It wasn't until her 4th day of detention when the young woman was allowed to use a phone at the facility. When she heard her mother's voice, she burst into tears. On the 5th day, agents drove her and 2 other recently released detainees to a light rail station near Whipple. They took off her handcuffs and told her to call an Uber, even though she didn't have a phone. As they released her in the cold, she recalls their simple words, "You're good to go." This happened in Minneapolis, but these types of abuses are happening at ICE detention facilities all around the country. They're definitely happening at the Tacoma one north of here. Yesterday, Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland shared a post describing an oversight visit to the ICE facility in Baltimore. I'm going to share that clip with you now.
We saw one room of men where there are 55 people in there in a room I would not put more than a dozen or 15 people in. They said it could actually fit more, but people were just shoulder to shoulder, and they sleep there on the ground with those aluminum blankets you've seen. And the minute that we got in and started being able to look around, all of the men began to gesture to us that they needed a shower. There's no shower. So theoretically, they're not supposed to be in there for more than 3 days. But there were people telling us through the window that they'd been there for 5 days, 6 days, or 7 days. And to be packed in with 55 people, 1 toilet, and no showers is just not a healthy sanitary situation for anybody with.
Jamie Raskin went on to comment how there is a separate room in these detention facilities for violent criminals. That room was empty because the people that they are abducting are not violent criminals. The regime says that they are taking gang members, murderers, rapists. That's not true.
I'm not going to be able to show you Auschwitz. I'm not going to be able to show you the black and white pictures of what happened to the Jews and how they were looking through the fences, just like how these prisoners are looking through the windows, indicating what's happening to them. To reporters and video people, media rolling by, media people embedded in. I can show you that, but I'm not going to because I need this video to actually be pushed. I need this video to actually go out there. So I have to make those types of decisions. Do I want people to actually see it? But I can't show you those because YouTube will stop it. But I want you to think about them that you saw. You've seen them, the black and white pictures. The kids, the adults, the black and white striped suits, garments, filthy, where people are signaling to the cameras through fences. This is where we are. I have very serious point to put out next.
That's not true. They're taking women who are here on asylum. They're taking mothers and their infants who are sick with influenza, trying to get medical care. They're taking decent, hardworking folks who have every right to be in this country. This is happening because of Stephen Miller's 3,000 a day quota. ICE agents are getting, we've heard from multiple sources, per head bounties. They have to meet their quotas, and they're snatching anybody. And then when it comes to pass that a judge says you can't keep that person, you don't have a right to keep that person, they just dump them out in the cold in the middle of the night, on the street, wherever. No coat, no phone. They've taken their phone, they've taken their identification, they don't give it back. They've taken personal effects like rings. They're taking people's engagement and wedding rings and not giving them back. They've been doing that for months and months. And shockingly, they are now taking 6 times the number of children that ICE was taking a year ago. Let me keep reading here. Even children are being treated like this. A Russian family who has been imprisoned at ICE's detention camp for children, concentration camp for children in Dilley, Texas for over 4 months, detailed the horrendous conditions. As recounted by NBC News, they experienced worms in their food, guards shouting orders and snatching toys from small hands, restless nights under fluorescent lights that never go dark, hours in line for a single pill. According to the Marshall Project, there are other reports from the Dilley facility of families not having anything to eat for days, not having enough water to drink. According to the Marshall Project, in the last year, ICE has taken almost 4,000 children. They've kept many of them for long periods of time, months. The federal court has said that children in ICE detention should only be kept for a couple of days until custody can be secured for them through Child Protective Services, through someone who has signed a form allowing them to be a guardian. They're only supposed to be kept for a couple of days until that can happen. Under Donald Trump's regime, children are being kept for months. Many, many children are being kept for more than 20 days, which the court has deemed excessive. It's excessive for a child to be kept in a concentration camp for 20 days or more. It has a significant psychological, emotional toll on these kids. They regress. Not only are they not being given enough access to food and water and sufficient education, it is guys, children shouldn't be kept in prison. It's unbelievable to me that we're even having a debate about this. Okay, back to this Russian family. Nikita is an engineer and Oksana is a nurse. And their 3 children are all here in the United States legally with a pending asylum case. They say that they never imagined that their children would be subjected to such conditions in the United States. We left one tyranny and came to another kind of tyranny, Nikita says. Even in Russia, they don't treat the children like this. A nation of detention camps and bathroom cells, of shackled ankles and confiscated phones, of children crying themselves to sleep in facilities that a Russian dissident says are worse than Putin's Russia.
It's about all I can take. Children should not be kept in concentration camps. There's more. I'll put the links below. This is about all I can take. I have 2 things to say. One is, this was done last time. By last time, I mean the last time you guys, you filthy fucking people elected Donald Trump. And kids were being kept and their parents were gone and they went around. Reporters went around with microphones. What do you think about that? And there were people who called themselves Christians every day that said, "Oh, you're always talking about the kids. You're always trying to make us feel bad."
Madeline Carroll doesn't like CNN, and she doesn't like the way the media, she says, is trying to make her feel guilty.
Quit trying to make us feel teary-eyed for the children. Yes, I love children a great deal, but to me, it's up to the parents to do things rightfully and legally.
What you won't find, especially among Trump fans, is sympathy for immigrant families separated at the border.
These people that we have coming across the border illegally are breaking the rules. Oh, I have no feelings for them at all. Now, when you have a bad guy coming across, kidnapping a kid and trying to come across, I don't buy that.
How many of these do you think could be bad guys?
I don't really know.
So when they elected him the next time, I don't care what you call yourself. I know what you are. You're filthy, disgusting abusers who thought that the abuse of children wasn't bad enough for you not to vote for him again because of the price of fucking eggs. Get someone else who cares to try to bring you into the big tent. I want you gone, out of here. And the second thing, where are these children? Because the numbers that she's stating, thousands, are not what's actually there. There are children that are missing, and they went missing last time. And judging by the Epstein files and the amount of discarded children, that an entire party of white Christian nationalists filled with dispassionate, filthy, ugly people who hate the poor and enjoy the suffering of children, or else they wouldn't have voted for the guy again. Judging by those data points, how many of them are leaving ICE facilities, concentration camps, and being trafficked? I'd say more than you'd like to believe. This will not stand. This cannot stand. The time to fight is now. There's a rally, a protest on the 27th in D.C. Be there. There's warehouses in your neighborhood, your state, your city. Go there. Because when this is over, and the Sons of Liberty, and the Spec Ops, and 51, and all of the groups that work together to beat this, when this is over, the question will be asked, did you know? And I will not accept your answer. Neither will the generations that come after this. Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works.
That was the Political Drain podcast, which can be heard on www.groovechillradio.com/political-drain and can be viewed on the Political Drain YouTube channel anytime. Once again, thank you for listening to Groove Chill as we resist fascism in any form, pursue democracy, peace, and love.